Yeah, I feel for the guys right now because it's two games in a row now where we have two good performances. We get all the points against the Galaxy, and tonight we put ourselves in a really good spot for all the points. And I'd say even against the Galaxy, we played a really good 45 minutes tonight. I think we extended it to maybe 60 minutes, and then, you know, we come out of halftime in a really good way, and then goals change games, and it's I think the first one that we concede is an own goal, and then we're taking a lot of pressure, and you got to give New England credit. The fans got behind them. They pushed hard, lots of crosses, lots to deal with, but it's this is one of those draws that feels like a loss, but it's a point. It's a point on the road. We take it, and yeah, like I said, I feel for the guys. They put a lot into it and put themselves in a good spot. And it's as I've said, we're gaining calluses, but this is a tough one because they put themselves in a good spot.
We'll go to Braden Nurse.
Hey Chris, thanks for the time. What do you mentioned the own goal? What do you tell Sam Vines and Sam Bassett, who gave up the penalty? What do you tell them after the game? And did you feel like the team maybe lost a little bit of the collective mental focus required to see out a game like this? Thank you.
No, I don't think they lost the focus. I think it's a quick turnaround to come across the country. We came here with the right mentality. I think with the right plan. We're up 3-0. So I don't think the focus. I think it's that goals change games, Braden. Goals change games. I think it's an own goal that all of a sudden they're with momentum they score, and then again I saw the penalty replay once. I saw Carlos Hill get I think Sam Bassett has some contact, but the player takes 2 or 3 steps after that. So at what stage doesn't it become a penalty anymore, right? And I'd be really curious to see it, but what I do know is what a dive looks like. And that for me is clear and obvious that a really intelligent, savvy player takes advantage of the play and goes down really easy. So imagine how clever, right, to make it 3-2, and goals change games. So now we have to defend. But no, I think I'm proud of the way my guys stepped on the field. They emptied their tanks. They played like winners. Like this ball club is pissed off with a draw on the road. Most often in any league around the world, you score 3 goals on the road, you win. So I'm proud of the way my team stepped on and fought hard and yeah, earned a point.
Next, we'll go to Matt.
Hey Chris, thanks for the time given the circumstances. Chris, I want to ask about kind of the phases of play that New England was doing throughout the game, regardless of the score line. They were getting the ball forward, getting it out wide, and then crosses into the box. Seemed like the team was playing a little bit more narrow, absorbing pressure, but doing well with most of those crosses. Was that by design? How much were you reacting to how New England was playing and dealing with that as they kept doing that throughout the match?
Yeah, look, we understood that their strengths in 2 strikers, lots of crosses with the wingbacks in the 3-back system, and that you have to find ways to deal with Carlos Hill. And on the night, you can see how good of a player he is, that we're just trying to take away spaces and man mark him a little more in the second half, double team him at times, and there's not a whole lot you could do because good players can find moments to have plays. So you can see that we gave up some field position in the first half, and then some crosses and that we dealt with, and maybe 6 or 7 corner kicks, which is not comfortable, but for the most part we took away what they were trying to do. So in the second half, it was much of the same. And that means you have to be better at denying crosses and then defending the crosses in the box. And we took a lot of pressure. We handled most of it fairly well. Again, it's a penalty. It's an own goal. And then in a 5 in the back, because now we tried a 4-5-1 to deal in the wide areas so we didn't get overloaded to deny crosses. And then we figured, why not bring in Ian Murphy, a big body to deal with the cross. So we tried a few different things tactically to help, but in those moments, it's about making some more plays, which, yeah, it's just pressure that's not easy, Matt. So that's what happened tactically on the night.
We'll go back to Braden.
Chris, I think you would agree, but I thought you were the better team. You know, the majority of the night, most of it came from wing play, transition play. Just what was better on those fronts tonight that can make you optimistic despite the result?
Well, I think we scored one. It's great that we score 3 goals, right? It's great that although you give up a lot of possession, we're the more dangerous team for good stretches on the night. And that was the plan, to punish them in transition and take away a lot of what they were good at. Space for the strikers, space for Carlos Hill, as much as we could do. So we were dangerous in transition, and you thought there might have been even 1 or 2 more goals because of the good defending. And we knew that this team could be vulnerable, at least how we identified maybe an area we can attack them. You know, the big part of it is late in the game, though, maybe 60 minutes on, we need to play more. We need to keep the ball in moments, control the game with the ball a bit more, because it just ends up being too much pressure. So I think I've said this before, guys, we are a young team, and young means we're going to learn from lots of these mistakes, you know, defending in the box, denying crosses, managing the game, having moments where we can recharge with the ball, and it relieves some pressure. So again, I'm proud of my team, the way they stepped on, and we're really close tonight. But yeah, we'll take some positives that we can play in high press, we can play in a mid block, we can attack in a low block in transition. So I think we're getting better in many ways. But yeah, this one it hurts because we're close to all 3 points on the road.
And we'll go back to Matt.
Chris, we've seen at times this season, you know, the new time-wasting rules, the injury rules come into effect, but I think this happened, it was more prevalent in this game. The broadcast didn't do a great job of showing it, but it looked like when Calvin came off, like Ian was held on. Do you like the rules as MLS has implemented them, and how do you think the team's kind of adjusted to accounting for that, you know, maybe affecting it to where you're down for a minute or two, a man in the game?
Listen, I think that there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. For me, it's the first time I've seen a player that we have to sit out a minute for jogging off the pitch. It was not too long. Like all of a sudden the stopwatch starts. I've not seen this one. I've not. It's not the first time that we have to play down. 2 minutes on one moment, another minute on the other moment. I've seen our guys get on the wrong end of a lot of these things that I see. Listen, I'm not going to talk about the refereeing, but I will say that for me it looks like a really soft penalty. And the easy thing is to say, oh, he put his arm on his back. In fact, you could almost say it's a yellow card to Hill for diving because he ran and then just falls down. So that, for me, a strange 1 minute off, Matt. So, yeah, we're on the wrong end of that tonight. These things come around. Maybe on other nights we can benefit.
Next, we'll go to Sydney Cohn with Rapids Digital.
Chris, tonight we saw Ted's first goal with the club since coming in February and returning from injury. We've seen him kind of knocking on the door in the attack for these past few games, earning an assist just on Wednesday night as well. What have you seen from him recently, maybe an extra fire in his game, and what can you say to him to continue that push and that hunger in front of goal?
Look, Ted is Ted. It's funny. I mean, Koo. We call him Koo. So he's a Rapids player. He plays in the pockets. He's vertical. He's powerful. He's got bite. Plays with intensity and energy, and he's talented. You can see even the way he took the goal. He made it look easy. But anytime he can pick up the ball in those pockets and drive it back lines, he's going to be more successful, get more goals and assists. And we talk a lot about precision over rapidness. We want to play fast without rushing, and he's showing his ability to slow down in the right moments, and he's a smart player as well. So he's a good fit in all ways for us. And yeah, what I tell him is there's always messages to him, but I congratulated him after on his first goal, but yeah, he's a great player and fun young player that I get to work with. I'm privileged to do that, but he's just getting started in my opinion. There's a big ceiling with him.
And then we'll go back to Braden.
Chris, a bit of a surprise to see Georgie out for this one. Just how's his ankle doing, and is there a timeline on him right now?
Yeah, listen. They work with him back home already. I mean, he's just took his ankle. We had to be careful playing on turf. So good news is that yeah, we're training on Tuesday. He's back. He's going to be back in, and we should expect him out there on Friday. So very short term, and we'll pick up right where we left off with him. Right, he had a great game against the Galaxy, and yeah, he'll be right back into the mix. I'm sure he will be.